Hi, Christina. Nice to meet you. I'm Vladimir Deva. I'm project manager and researcher at the Charity Fund of Social Projects Galaxy. We are based in Russia, in St. Petersburg, and we run our social and our research projects in different regions of Russia, not only in St. Petersburg. And we also run projects in cooperation with our partners from other countries. One of the main priority of our work now is prevention and combating child sexual abuse and exploitation, but we also work with other social problems related to child well-being, prevention of risky behavior, combating human trafficking, and many others. In these projects, we were focusing on identification and analysis of models of cooperation between civil society organizations and local authorities in the sphere of localization of UN Sustainable Development Goals and human rights principles. And we actually see the crucial role of such cooperation both in our everyday work, and we also had a chance to analyze it in more details within this project. In different regions of Russia, we have very different situations regarding resources that civil society organizations working in social sphere have, including funding opportunities, background of collaboration of civil society organizations and local authorities, as well as sometimes very different situation in implementation of SDG agenda and human rights-based approach into the work of stakeholders, both from civil society organizations and local authorities on a regional and on a local level. And even within the northwestern region of Russia, these resources and these opportunities significantly differ in different cities. But in many cases, we see that civil society organizations translate sustainable development goals, terminology, and priorities into the work of local authorities, and this is very clearly seen in such spheres as child protection, prevention of gender-based violence that we were studying in these projects. When studying models of cooperation between civil society organizations and local authorities, we defined several types of them, and the allocation of these different types of partnership was carried out on different grounds. For example, depending on type of support provided by local authorities to civil society organizations, there is economic and non-economic forms of cooperation, where the first one supposed financial and material support, while in non-economic form of cooperation, there is no such kind of support. The other types of cooperation models are defined based on the role of civil society organizations in this cooperation. Here we define patron-client type of cooperation. This type is characterized by the fact that NGOs do not control the activities of local authorities and do not participate in the distribution of funds and do not define the agenda on the local level. While in intersectoral social partnership, which is characterized by increasing public confidence of civil society organization and self-organization of civil society organizations and participation of these organizations in the distribution of funds and defining the priorities on a local level and on the regional level. And the third typology is based on the content of cooperation. They are science or evidence-based or practice-oriented cooperation. We studied 3 examples of such models. These are examples of cooperation between civil society organizations and local authorities in northwestern region of Russia. All of them are related to implementation of human rights-based approach and UN SDG agenda on the local level. First of all, we looked at the activity of the regional public organization of social projects in the sphere of population's well-being study, which is based in St. Petersburg. The activities of study are focused on SDG number 16.2, put an end to abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and all forms of violence and torture against children. This organization conducts social research of child well-being, child sexual abuse and exploitation, human trafficking. It also develops and implements social projects in cooperation with local authorities and with other civil society organizations. The model of cooperation between state and local authorities we defined as economic cooperation, as state receives fundings from regional and local authorities on a regular basis, and it is also cross-sectoral cooperation and scientific-based cooperation. State interacts with local authorities through providing support to stakeholders from governmental organizations, including educational and methodological support in prevention of child sexual abuse and exploitation, and by providing assistance in providing assistance to child survivors. The second example that we have studied is the work of the Pskov Independent Social Women's Center. This center deals with implementation of SDG number 5, gender equality, including protection of women and girls from all forms of discrimination and violence. The Women's Centers carries out social projects, advocacy, research, as well as it provides direct assistance to women and girls. This is an example of non-economic form of cooperation with local authorities, as it does not receive funding from local authorities, but the center works in cooperation with local authorities and shares its expertise and provides research findings related to the position of women and girls in the region and beyond. That's why we also define this model as scientific-based cooperation. The women's centers may not influence the decision of local authorities in the sphere of gender equality agenda in the region, and that's why this example illustrates the patron-client type of cooperation. The third model that we analyzed within this project is cooperation between Archangelsk regional branch of the All-Russian public organization Red Cross and its cooperation with local authorities. This branch of Red Cross, as a part of its activity, provides direct assistance to vulnerable children and families, that is, hot lunches for children, as well as humanitarian aid, and it also carrying out a social program for children. These activities are related to implementation of Sustainable Development Goals number 1, no poverty, and number 2, zero hunger. The feature of this model is that cooperation of civil society organizations with local authorities is totally institutionalized and formally secured through their cooperation agreements. Red Cross signs these agreements with schools and centers of social assistance and provide children with hot lunches and with other social activities and other assistance on the basis of these organizations. This cooperation is completely practice-oriented and it includes both economic and non-economic forms of interaction with local authorities. All these models contribute to the implementation of Sustainable Development Goals by supporting local authorities in its activities aimed on sustainable development, especially in the sphere of social welfare, and sometimes filling the gaps in these spheres. For example, by conducting research in the sphere of child sexual abuse and exploitation, or in the sphere of gender discrimination, and providing these findings to local authorities to form their agenda. So, as we can see from our analysis, there are multiple forms of cooperation between civil society organizations and local authorities in the sphere of implementation of SDGs and human rights principles on the local level. And our main conclusion is that in our national context, civil society organizations breach the international agenda, including SDG and human rights principles, with local context and with the practical work of governmental organizations and local authorities. Thank you. Bye.